It's Monday. It is the last Monday in the month of April 2020. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions. It comes up on radio every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday right here on Flow 94.9 FM. It is the flow of God's own state. Well, this morning, we're turning our attention to the frontline health workers. And of course, we're also going to take a look at what is happening in Kano State. I know you must have heard a whole lot happening in Kano State. The deaths, high number of deaths recorded in Kano State. We will turn our attention to that also this morning on the program. Welcome. My name is Michael Oni. Now, despite the high risks associated with being on the front line of the fight against COVID-19 pandemic in the country, there are reports that health workers have not been adequately motivated. Their families are at risk. They work without the essential personal protective equipment, PPE. A majority are not insured. And of course, even more worrying, majority are not insured, and even more worrying is that over 40 health workers have tested positive to COVID-19. That's according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, last week. Now, healthcare workers have been raising the alarm that they are being exposed to the infection due to lack of PPE. In addition, many of them are not adequately trained on precautions to take while interfacing with patients coming into their hospitals at this period. Now, globally, no fewer than 30,000 health workers have been infected by the virus through exposure to patients, while close to 1,000 have lost their lives to this pandemic. Italy and Spain have reported the infection of almost 11,000 health workers, with at least 500 of them said to have died after succumbing to symptoms of the disease. While in the United States, also infection and death rates among health workers treating COVID-19 patients are increasing by the day. And if medical personnel in countries where they use the PPE, including garments, helmets, and goggles, are still exposed to this disease, one can only imagine what happens within our environment. Meanwhile, we would like to take you to Kano State in Nigeria, where experts have feared it could be the next epicenter of COVID-19 infection, with the figures already hitting double digits after Lagos. And this is in addition to the mysterious deaths of even prominent Nigerians in suspicious quick successions. Now, we have joining us this morning on the program the publisher and human rights lawyer and the publisher of Judicial Sketch, Barrister Yusuf Abdusalam. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Glad to have you join us on the program this morning. My name is Michael Oni. Now, please, can you confirm your name and designation just for record purpose before we begin the conversation this morning?
That's okay. I'm Yusuf Abdusalam. I'm a practicing lawyer here in Kano and the editor-in-chief of the Judicial Sketch online publication.
All right, Barrister Yusuf, glad to have you join us this morning. Well, you are on ground. Can you tell us the situation in Kano, the panic, the death, and the trepidation among residents?
Yes, you see, about a week ago, we got information that people have been dying in different parts of Kano metropolis. So we sent out reporters to do a follow-up on that. And what we discovered was very, very, very shocking. In about 6 to 7 different mortuaries in Kano metropolis alone, we are not even talking about the rural areas, people keep dying. For example, the Kuka Mulukia Cemetery said it received on Thursday alone not less than 50 dead bodies brought in to be buried. Moved to another burial ground in Kofar Mazugar, the attendant said more than 36 people were buried on same day. Now, this goes around 7 different burial grounds in the metropolis. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So now when we broke this news, the state government's reaction was denial, total denial, that nothing like that was happening in Kano. There was no any unusual death incidences in Kano. I would say this was very dangerous, because if the government does not agree it is happening, then it will not take action to arrest the situation. Not until the citizens in the state now began to cry very ceaselessly that the government reluctantly yesterday now agreed that yes, something is happening. The Commissioner for Information in Kano here, Comrade Mohammed Garba, issued a press release in which his government was now agreeing that there are deaths that couldn't be explained. But they made an attempt to say that it is unrelated to COVID-19, that is one, and that these deaths are arising out of complications from hypertension, meningitis, and diabetes, and that the government has put in place, has asked the Ministry for Health to now begin to look for how to resolve the situation. This is where Kano is today. And also, if you remember, yesterday and day before yesterday, very prominent Kano citizens died also. And I think the death of such people is one of the things that now precipitated the government to now wake up from their slumber. That is where we are as it is today.
Okay, in your findings, Barrister Yusuf, in your findings, do you agree with the government statement that those that have died, because unconfirmed reports are saying that there are about over 640 persons in the space of 7 days. Do you agree with the government with the statement that they do have underlying illnesses like the diabetes and some of the illnesses you gave the examples on the program this morning?
Yes, you see, it is very, very possible. It is very possible because, hospitals are closed, private clinics, well, they are not officially closed, but because people are observing this lockdown, access to these hospitals are now very, very limited. Plus, the fact that people don't have money in their pockets, some don't have sufficient foods in their houses, and so when somebody who has underlying ailments begin to experience his symptoms, he probably may be handicapped as far as reaching out to medical assistance is concerned. That is very possible, but that is beside the fact, because the government is the one that now has the capacity and also the responsibility to do their finding. If they had not been denying right from the start, perhaps by this time they would have been able to come up with a correct position as far as what is killing people en masse in Kano is. That is the position.
Okay, there are claims in some quarters also in Kano that this time of the year, every year, there is this high rate of death, that this is not new and might be unconnected with the heat. I mean, the temperature that is rising above 40 degrees centigrade there in Kano, and might be related to meningitis.
Yes. You see, meningitis is truly a common occurrence in Kano. Almost every year, you have incidences of the outbreak of meningitis in Kano. But you see, meningitis has its own characteristics, doctors will tell you. But in this instance, the incidences of death cut across all class, even the highly educated, those whom you could say may have at least some level of protection against the meningitis are involved. This morning, as far as I'm concerned, I have received news of death of people I personally know, not less than 6. So nobody will say it is meningitis or not. And yes.
Okay, and your findings, I also want to know, Barrister Yusuf, if you are aware of the symptoms exhibited by some of the people that died, this mysterious death in Kano.
Okay, personally, no. What the doctors will tell you is that they will carry out what they call verbal autopsy. This is because in Kano, being a largely Muslim community, they bury their dead immediately. A dead person will be buried in 1 hour or 2 hours at most. So even doctors cannot carry out autopsy properly. What they do is verbal autopsy. They get in touch with people who are close to the deceased and ask them what symptoms did they exhibit before they died. I think they will be trying to find a common trace in the symptoms that were leading to the death of these people. Until we hear their reports, we may not be able to know what actually symptoms they have exhibited before they died.
Okay, so are you saying there are no linkages between the deaths, the high rate of deaths being experienced right now in Kano and the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, I may not be in the position to say this, but what they are telling us here is that they are unrelated, that the pandemic is being handled, that is quote unquote, and that they know the number of people that have been affected. As far as this morning is concerned, there are 74 cases of COVID-19 in Kano. 2 people have disappeared. They have tested possible and they have disappeared. Government is trying to trace them. So they are saying...
When you say disappeared, they ran from the isolation center?
No, they have not been confined yet. The moment they discovered after testing that they are positive, they just ran away. So they switch off their phones, they refuse to go to their homes, and then the authorities are now looking for them. The coordinator just spoke this morning to say that they will be considering whether or not to publish their names so that people can give them information about those people who ran away.
Another thing we're very concerned here now, Barrister Yusuf, is how the residents of Kano are adhering to COVID-19 outbreak.
Oh, wow. That is something else. In the main roads, you will observe what you may call substantial compliance because the roads are deserted. Our vehicles don't move except you are exempted if you provide what they call essential services. But that is as far as the main roads are concerned. If you go to the inner parts, you can say there is substantial violation now. People do their things. Small shops are open. People go to buy their things there. So people don't really comply in the inner areas. That's the position.
Could it be ignorance or government's unseriousness?
Perhaps the two. Because the government did not put in place machinery to ensure compliance. That is one. On the aspect of ignorance, there are people here who still believe COVID-19 is a mirage. It's nothing. If you have to die, you will die by something. And so this kind of behavior, mindset, is probably affecting the way people react to the lockdown order.
We've seen pictures and also videos on social media saying otherwise, that the level of ignorance concerning COVID-19 in Kano is so high. We've seen pictures, for example, videos of residents of Kano washing their hands as being advised by the authorities, especially the NCDC. Of course, after washing their hands with water, the same water, they take it and drink it just to mock COVID-19.
Yes.
These are some of the videos we're getting from that end of the country. Can you confirm that?
Well, I have seen the viral video clips. I wouldn't know whether they actually emanate from Kano or not. But I will tell you one thing. It is true that people don't take COVID-19 as seriously as they should. It's a matter of concern to even the government here. They have rolled out their ulama, that is the Islamic clergy, to tell people that this is true. But unfortunately, some of these clergy tend to have the same attitude too. So, if you now have a respected clergy who behave that way, then you expect the followers to follow him. So that is the situation. There is actually a huge, this attitude that this thing is not true. It's here. Yes.
All right, Barrister Yusuf Abdusalam, I really want to appreciate you for being part of the program this morning, and thank you very much for letting us into what is happening in Kano. We do appreciate, and also we would like to get back to you as soon as the event unfolds there in Kano.
Thank you very much. You are welcome.
Please do stay safe.
Trauma to all. Thank you very much. Right. Or trauma to all, Abia.
Thank you very much, Barrister.
Yes, Mamanu.
Mamanu. All right, there you have the true events of what is happening in Kano. Many thanks to Barrister Yusuf Abdusalam. Well, he is a publisher and a human rights lawyer, a publisher of Judicial Sketch, Barrister Yusuf Abdusalam. I told you today's program is also multifaceted. They will also be turning our attention to health workers, those at the front line. This morning, as far as COVID-19 pandemic is concerned, we do have a comrade Ikechukwu Onwafo, the Southeast Vice President of Medical Health Workers Union of Nigeria, joining us this morning on the conversation. You're welcome, comrade.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much. You're welcome. My name is Michael Oni. Comrade, we have a pandemic in our hands, and we at Flow FM join the rest of the world to salute the courage and dedication of your colleagues who are on the front line.
Thank you very much.
Now, please, what do you have to say about the well-being of an average Nigerian health worker before COVID-19?
Thank you, my brother. I think it is an issue that if I must use my own word, I say that I've been unveiled, or an issue that I've been exposed. The issue about health workers before COVID-19 was something that has been in the public domain of both government and those who are responsible to put the appropriate measures for health care services to be in this country. But nobody ever agreed what the health workers have been asking or telling them, or the provisions made for government to take care of. I must tell you the truth, sir. Before now, the healthcare workers' welfare in Nigeria, especially Southeast Zone, have been in serious dilemma. I must tell you the truth. Okay, let me just take the recent issues that happened. Nigeria made approval of 30,000 minimum wage for workers in Nigeria and went ahead, the same federal government went ahead to do adjustment on the current salary of health workers. Could you believe that not even one state in Southeast responded to that adjustment made? And even before before now, since 2009, core has been consolidated health salary have been approved by federal government, paid to federal government workers. In the whole of Southeast, the only state that implemented it in 2010 was Ebonyi State. No other state has completely implemented that health salary to health workers. Ebonyi State did it in 2010 under the leadership of Governor Martin Elechi. But no other state till now have completely, I must tell you the truth, in Abia State, they implemented the health salary only to state workers, leaving the health workers in the local government without implementing core health for them. And those are the people at the front line now on this COVID-19 pandemic. The health workers in the local government in Abia State. Then tell me how a such worker can really feel fulfilled or encouraged to really give the health services he's supposed to give. As I'm talking to you in Abia State, they're not paying health workers in the LGA, in local government. Their health salary. Not to talk of the adjustment that was just brought by the last minimum wage. I must tell you, in Enugu State, they paid few health workers and left some. They selected few health workers and they paid them 10% of the health workers' salary. 10%. In Anambra State, they are paying them 60% to state health workers. Then to local government health workers, they are paying them 40%. Until recently, they upgraded the local government health workers salary to 60%. So you can imagine where we were before now. Imo State is also paying a percentage to health workers. No complete implementation of health salary to health workers. Then look at where we are now. Our problem at the initial is equip the health facilities so that those things the health workers need to use in delivering their duties should be there. They don't do it.
Before you move on to the next topic, Comrade Ikechukwu, I would like to know the status of hazard allowance. Do you receive a special?
The hazard allowance,
okay.
As you must know, is they are paying 5,000 across board. When I mean the federal government approved 5,000 hazard allowance for health workers throughout the federation. Everybody. But most states are not paying it. Like I told you, it's only in Ebonyi that they are paying it since 2010.
Okay.
Other states don't pay.
That hazard allowance also covers what you receive especially for this pandemic that your members are also on the front line.
Of course, they're on the front line. All the environmental health officers, all the public health workers, all of us were on the front line. But they're paying them 5,000 naira as hazard allowance. And even before this pandemic comes, sir, you are aware there's what we call Lassa fever that has claimed so many lives, so many health workers' lives. Because most times the symptoms are so hidden that they will come to hospital, someone with such symptoms, and the workers will go ahead to treat them, thinking that it's ordinary sickness. It will end up being a Lassa fever. And before you discover that more than 5, all the people that get in touch goes. We have been suffering that for a very long time.
We're also concerned about the health of these workers now. We understand that over 40 health workers, frontline health workers, have contracted this COVID-19 disease, according to the Minister of Health. We want to know, okay.
You can see that the health workers are doing that without any life insurance. In fact, we are even supposed to be operating under health insurance for the health workers. A national health insurance scheme, which is meant for workers, not only health workers alone, for all the workers of the federal government of Nigeria. But in many states, especially in Southeast, they have not implemented that national health insurance to workers. Anambra did it, and it was done in paper. It was not done in practical. And the worst part of it is are putting it under the health insurance on monthly basis. 5%. But such no worker in Anambra can access that scheme. It's a very bad situation.
All right, Comrade Ikechukwu, you've highlighted the problems this morning. Let's seek solutions to some of the problems you've highlighted this morning. How can we move from here, and what should states governments, especially Southeast governments, states governments, do in this regard?
Thank you, my dear. In Southeast, it is a very difficult issue. Other zones, other governors from other places, they listen to their health workers and ask them what they should do. One, I pray that our Southeast governors should begin to advocate or implement a life insurance for health workers. It is very, very important. And let them also, for every other person, not just health workers, because this pandemic don't really know who is a health worker, who is not a health worker. For all the civil servants, let the issue of National Health Insurance Scheme be implemented in our state. Let it be implemented so that people can access such scheme. So many people have died because at the point they became sick, they cannot access the health care. And our health care in this country is becoming too costly for the common man. And we don't know where this thing is coming from. I must tell you this, and I stand to be quoted. In most of our federal facilities, they will tell you that federal government don't give money the way they give, so they are doing everything to see how they run the hospitals. And you go there, you see where people cannot even afford to buy cars, not to talk of paying hospital bills. It's a very big problem. So we recommend that there should be a roundtable discussion on this. Let the health experts, let the health professionals, let the health workers come together for us to come up with a plan, a template by which we benefit both the patients and the workers. It becomes a very sympathetic situation where a health worker wants to save a life and lose his own life.
All right, Comrade Ikechukwu Nwafo, we want to really appreciate you for your time on the program this morning, the Southeast Vice President of Medical Health Workers Union of Nigeria. Thank you very much for being part of the conversation this morning.
Thank you, my dear brother.
All right, there you have the situation as far as health workers are concerned, especially those of them working in Abia or in southeastern part of the country, the frontline health workers. I would like to open the phone lines to get your reactions and some of the things we've talked about this morning on the platform. We have less than 7 minutes to take your calls and your messages on the program this morning. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. It is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions, right here on Flow 94.9 FM. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I can hear you.
Good morning to you.
This is Mr. Z.
Welcome.
Yes, I love the program I'm listening just few seconds ago. The man I was saying something about health workers.
Yes.
How health workers are taken care of. He said nothing but the truth. But I want to use this platform to remind you as well. Do you know that in Abia State, in whole primary school, 17 local governments, they have not received the 10,000 naira the government accepted to pay to them, that's the state workers. They are paid with the old salary structure. Nothing to show. I mean, primary school from A to Z, just count from first government to last government. 17 government, nothing has been paid them. That is additional to compared to what others are paid up to today. Then the question is this: what do they benefit from suffering the pupils and the teachers at the same time? They see that they are dealing with teachers, but they don't know at the same time they are suffering the masses and the society.
All right, so wrap up your thoughts so that we can get more reactions, please.
So this is what we're facing. Ask them why they should know they are not paid primary school teachers. What they are due for.
All right.
if it is right to do so.
Thank you for your contribution.